In this video, you're going to learn how to use the Flowright's .NET API. So we'll do a basic example. Let's say we have a list of process definitions, and we want to get this list of process definitions using the API. So let's go to Visual Studio and build a little, uh, you know, application to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and select Windows desktop app, so we can put a bunch of buttons and program those. So I'm going to say, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and use the .NET framework. And let's call this Flowright API examples. And I'm going to use the 4.6.1 framework in this case, since I'll be using .NET 9.10. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the NuGet package to help us. So I'm going to go ahead and say manage NuGet packages, and let's use the Flowright one. So the NuGet package is installed, and let's go ahead and add a button. And let's call this button btn get process defs. And for the text, we'll call it get process definitions. And we're going to go and put the code behind this button. Now, we're going to use the namespace here, saying using Flowright.cwd API. When you're dealing with processes, and especially process and forms, our APIs are broken up into sub-components, which is design and runtime. So design deals with like process definitions, and runtime deals with process instances. So in this case, we want to use the DE design API. So I'm going to say DE design, and let's create an object called oDesign equals new DE design. And first thing you can see that we have a couple of different constructors. If you have a user session, we can use that. Otherwise, we have to use a different constructor. So I'm going to use this particular constructor where we have to provide a database connection string and also the username that we want to API to act as. So as you can see, I need to get the connection string. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually store that connection string in a file here. So let me go ahead and add a file. And what we want to do is I want to add the configuration file here. So we can actually search for this application configuration file. And actually, I already have one, so I don't need to add. So in this case, you can see that I have the configuration file, and I'm just going to add a configuration section called connection strings. And we're going to add a connection string here called add name. We're going to call it, let's say, connection string, or let's call it connect string. And we're going to have the connection string value. And the easiest way to get to the Flowright's connection string is if you go into the bin directory. So let's go to the bin directory, and you will see a file called connections.config. And what you can do is you can open that. Let me open it in Notepad++, and you can grab this connection string, or you can copy the whole thing. can just copy this whole connection string and copy it to my project. So I'm just gonna copy it right here and save that. So now that we have the connection string, let's go ahead and access that connection string. And in order to access that, you have to put a reference to system.configuration, a configuration manager. So let's see if we can use that system.configuration. So we'll add a reference for that. So we'll add a reference to system.configuration. And we should see now available. And so we're going to say string connection string, or let's call it constr is configuration manager dot connection strings. And here we're going to give the name of it. And I believe in this case, we called it connect string. And dot connection string will give us the connection string. And here we are going to tell which user we want to act. Actually, we're getting the connection string only here. So we got the connection string. In the API call here, we're going to tell we want to use the constr. And here we're going to tell the username we want to act as. So I'm just going to give admin as the user. So this is going to give us a design object. Now to the design object, we're going to ask to give us a list of process definitions. So we can say get definitions. Okay, and this is going to return us a collection or a dictionary. So I'm going to go ahead and say return that. And if you look at the type that returns, it's a dictionary string D workflow definition. So let's do a dictionary string and D workflow definition. So let's call it or process defs. And that's it. That's all we have to do. Pretty simple. 3 lines of code, and you have a list of process definitions. So let me put a breakpoint on this, and let's go ahead and run this. So at this point, we're going to go get the connection string. So as you can see, we have the connection string here. That next, we're going to create the design object on our API. So this will make sure it connects to your database, Fluorite database, and can connect. And next, we're going to go get the process definitions. And that was a pretty fast call. And you can see that it brought back 507 process definitions. Okay. And here's the listing of all of them. And we have various API methods for you to perform various different actions using our API. For example, if you want to get a list of tasks, if you want to complete a step, if you want to delete a process instance, APIs are available to do anything within our Fluorite software. And we will show you how to use some of the other APIs in following videos. Thank you for watching this, and hopefully you get an understanding of how very simply you can use the Fluorite API. Thank you.